Welcome back to this week's installation of Girls with Voices, your favorite podcast in the world. Today, I am your host, Roly, and I'm joined by two lovely ladies. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Chantal.
I'm Fiona Ndlovu Makajane.
In today's episode, we're talking about backdoor pharmacies.
We're here for you.
So, ladies, why do you think backdoor pharmacies have emerged in the Zimbabwean healthcare system?
Okay, I think backyard pharmacies have emerged because it is more accessible and affordable. It is easily accessible because we cannot get some things without a prescription. So you have to go get a doctor's note and that is costly.
Consultation
Yes.
fee, going to the pharmacist.
Yes, I remember at one point in time, I had to accompany a friend in town. We wanted PEP. And we could not get PEP without a prescription. But we knew after having unprotected sex, you need PEP within 72 hours. And we didn't have that money to go to a consultation, then come back to buy the same thing that we know we should buy. So we had to meet this other guy. And we paid $50 for PEP. And we know it doesn't cost that much. But then he had to add his own cost because
he also took a risk by bringing it outside.
So
the hospital.
we can easily get what we need in backyard pharmacies.
Chantal, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say that before we even get to the whole affordability stuff, guys, me and was social next door. I painkiller sure. I think it's just within. I don't know if it's just black people, but I feel like if we see a nurse, if we stay close to a nurse, or if I know a nurse, we feel like we're entitled to the benefits of their profession and stuff like that.
Yeah, for me personally, I genuinely think that in so many third world countries like ours, we have failing healthcare systems so much that people are forced to create these alternatives and go to these alternatives. As you were saying, Fiona, that if there were proper channels in place whereby a person could easily afford to go to the hospital and get the prescription they need and get the consultation from the doctor and everything was in line, people would honestly go through those channels. Definitely. But because they are not there, people are then now forced to become, creative and find other ways to deal with their healthcare concerns.
Yes.
Because honestly, when you think about the whole system, I was looking at it in two bases. Like there are risks and of course there are going to be advantages. Have you guys ever considered any risks if you're also maybe risking it? Okay, let me go to my neighbor who's a nurse.
Yeah.
So what are the risks you guys have noticed?
I'm a backyard pharmacist. They are unregulated, guys. We don't have the guarantee of the medication that we're buying, which is it the actual thing. You could have gone while you're taking prep work for pain.
Oh no.
There was actually a case in a university locally whereby someone was selling a painkiller as contraceptives, and because it's not coming from an actual doctor, you cannot now go back or go to the police and say, I got the wrong prescription, because both of you guys are not within the law.
You won't even know if
was it real or not? Yeah.
Yes.
Any other news?
Okay, side effects. Is when you have side effects of the medicine that you got from the backyard pharmacies, you cannot go back or you cannot report them. You have to keep it a secret because you're the one in the first place who went to the backyard pharmacy.
Yeah, and now it's difficult to even tell your doctor, like, what did you consume?
You can't even tell your family.
Yeah, you can't even tell your family like what went wrong, what we were even doing, going to purchase medicine in a place that's unregulated.
And at some point someone gets sick to the extent that they're very sick, they're almost in their deathbed because they are quiet that they went to a backyard pharmacy. So people end up getting sick and a lot of side effects from backyard pharmacies.
And also I feel like another risk that we often don't talk about is that like drugs within the society, it's also being pushed through backdoor pharmacies, whereby these pharmaceuticals that were meant to be painkillers, your Oxys, your Xanax, is being sold to you by someone who's not giving you a proper prescription. So if you're not drinking it properly and you get addicted to it, it's very hard for you to then escape that because you didn't get it from your proper doctor and you're just drinking these painkillers, thinking it's for a headache, yet it's painkillers that were supposed to be taken by someone who's going in for surgery. That's how strong they are.
And I highly doubt that these backyard pharmacies have people in their hearts. Like they do it for the society. They're just doing it for the bag. They're not concerned
like
about
are they
the society.
actually helping people be healthy? Or is it just for money?
Just for money.
I think it's for money. People are honestly capitalists, guys. It's pillar in an era of filled with capitalists. I feel like people will just take advantage of your needs. You know, they are no longer doing it for helping the community.
Because also you consider that some of these pills, because you couldn't get a prescription, you could have gotten that for free through your public hospital or something like that. But they are now charging people exorbitant amount of money because you couldn't go to the doctor.
Yes. Another thing that I just thought of, backyard pharmacies, most people that use backyard pharmacies are prone to abuse.
Yeah.
And you won't say anything because you need help. For example, in that case where we couldn't find PEP, you have 72 hours to get PEP. And whatever it decides to do to you or whatever abuse, you can't say anything because you need the pill. You are running against time. So whether it abuses you physically or emotionally or sexually.
Yeah, also exactly what you're talking about, that there are cases whereby you are now verbally abused or you bakupopotela nje umuntu vele abe ku-treata njani njani because they know that you are desperate and you need to get that medication in a certain amount of time and you don't have another option.
Yeah.
Besides that, I feel like backyard pharmacies are not. I feel like abantu, they will be confused by the jargon of pharmacy because they feel like a pharmacy in committed training. If you are there and you are giving people, you are distributing medication, whether you stole or whether you individual, that's a backyard pharmacy.
Yeah, because abanye siyabe backyard pharmacy but njengoba ubusithi ukuthi ngumakhelwane nje oyakuphathela umuthi olikuphathela ama injection yabehlaba nje abantu khona.
I heard of this guy, you know. Apparently there's this injection you detox, guys. Apparently you detox this injection and I think it's 100 grams or something. So they slabber you with that injection and you detox, and apparently you wouldn't walk for like a week or so. And now my question is, you are detoxing and you can't walk for a full week and you think that's okay?
That's the thing too, because we're not going to the right medical channels and we cannot afford to go to the right medical channels. That's how we also get misinformation like this, whereby you're told that this is going to detox you, pay me $20 for this injection.
In the first
your
place?
Kidney detoxes you, your liver detoxes you. Those are the jobs of those organs in your body.
We just assume, you know, this problem needs detoxing. Who told you?
Exactly. There's natural remedies.
Yes. You know, public clinics also need to have user-friendly services. They need to be friendly with young women and ladies because this thing is actually happening. Backyard pharmacies are there. So we need people that will actually understand our situations and help us. Why were you doing it in the first place? You're too young to be doing that. You know, no, we don't need that. We need help.
Yeah, because now we hear stories or we've had experiences whereby you go to the hospital or the clinic and you're judged for whatever you would have done, yet it's life and things happen. So now you're like, should I risk it? All these derogatory terms and yell at my face and make me like a public display and embarrass me, or do I just call someone and be like, okay, I need help with emergency contraceptive, could you please assist me?
And that is an option that most young ladies would definitely prefer than going to a public clinic where they will shout at you, embarrass you, shame you, and all of that. And that goes a long way. People become emotionally abused and mental health after being shouted at. I honestly don't like someone shouting at me or someone poking their nose in my business. Yes, I've done it. I've learned my lesson. Now help me.
Yeah, I think the one thing that causes us to shy away from using this legal routes of getting medication is basically the service that we get in hospitals and pharmacies, right? Because I feel like we are judged so many times. You mentioned, Uti, you had to pay $50 just to get that. And my question is, if you were to go to a clinic and you're looking for contraception or you're looking for anything, basically, you are judged in age yako. But then, is that
You see, it's difficult to talk about especially sensitive topics like women's health or feminine hygiene and things like that, because you know that this is already a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
And if I'm not comfortable with the user experience or the bedside manner that I get when I go to the hospital, people will look for alternatives. That's how we hear. Do you guys usually get those chain messages? And it's usually those people who are selling sketchy medicine. And they're like, oh, feminine hygiene, you need to do this, you need to
I told that.
But most of the stuff too is usually very dangerous because it's not coming directly from the doctors. You're being given these tinctures
from
and
someone who
potions
doesn't
from
even
someone
practice medicine.
who's not in medicine. Honest aid, baba sebebuya belly prescribe ngathi ngodokotela.
Taking chances, and they know you will also take the chance.
Yeah.
I feel like velo dokotela laba, we don't find anything wrong in someone opening a legal practice, prescribe something, and we know which you are getting this from the right channels. But we understand you're a doctor, but then does it mean that even if you're not working, you're not at work, you're not in your scrubs as a doctor, but you're giving me medication, and it's not even okay to think that there's actually somebody. You hear which medication aiko. Totally, it's not there, maybe in the city or in the country, but there's someone olayo in their home. But then at the same time, we can't ignore the fact that currently the unemployment rate is standing at 95%, right? We can't ignore that abantu abama-backyard pharmacies, they're just trying to earn a living. But at the same time, is it worth risking lives?
People's lives.
Definitely it's not. We need these services to be more accessible to the public, to most young women. There shouldn't be any age or discrimination of who should be talking about this and who shouldn't, at what age you should be talking about this. This thing is happening. So we need these services to be out there, easily accessible for everyone at any age.
Yeah. And based off of what Fiona is saying, I also had another question that what can we as the youth, as young women who are being amplified, who are given these voices, do in order to change these systems that are currently in place, both when considering that backyard pharmacies exist, so what do we do about them, and also how do we improve the existing healthcare system in order to eliminate the backyard pharmacies?
I think the first step would be to have government initiatives that allow people that have accessibility to all this medication and everything, to give them a proper channel for them to be able to operate and provide the medication. Because at the end of the day, it's not like those people, majority of them are actually helping a lot of people. Right, a lot of us, if I were to say, right, a lot of us are receiving help from these people. They are always not slam. I'm just saying us, so that they don't feel like judge. But I feel like the government should also give these people space so that they can also trade, because they have medication that hospitals don't have.
But also, how do people gain access to medication that's not there in hospitals? These
inside jobs.
Yeah, because when you're talking, Chantal, I was also thinking about the fact that since people are more comfortable going to backyard pharmacies, but we need the safety of the hospital, you can combine the two and have community clinics. I remember when I still used to work for another NGO, Grassroots Soccer, who would set up community clinics whereby we actually have nurses who are practicing. We got our HIV tests properly, we got our ARVs through the proper channels, but would go to the community and talk to people, and it would be a friendly situation whereby they don't have to go through the expensive or intimidating scenarios that we experience in hospitals.
Yeah.
So that could be another thing. More community outreaches.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. As much as we can educate people on the disadvantages of backyard pharmacies, we also need the government to intervene and actually make sure that these services are there in hospitals. We may talk about it as much as we want to, but we need initiatives that will be put into place.
Come to think of it, guys, if someone can actually prescribe something, let's say Seven's medication and even if it's wrong, people will go.
People will go. Okay, see, also it's now up to us as Zimbabwean citizens for us to refuse the negative and stop using the backyard pharmacies. You know, like, because the more people go back to them, the more business they have. La uzafika unjela ukuthi Chantel phela Roli umakhelwane wami nguyo opha amaphilisi awesihlabo, then I'll also go to them. So now I genuinely believe that, of course, our healthcare system has a long way to go. We too should be the people studying to be doctors, studying to be nurses, studying to be pharmacists, in order to ensure that we have a future that's safe in our hands and we're catering to our communities effectively.
Yes. Ever had a situation where you're in the hospital and the doctor asks, what kind of medicine have you been taking?
You
can't say because I told you not to say. You don't even know the name of the
next thing. So where am a blood test to discover what you've been on this really illegal drug?
Yes, we need people to be safe. We need young ladies and women to be safe.
Yeah. And also just genuinely changing the whole culture that we have in Zimbabwe for our professionals in all fields, not just nurses and doctors, whereby we treat people with respect. Please be the types of people who always consider their patients, consider their well-being, and always talk to the person with respect, so that we continue to raise generations whereby we see change and not just always talk about how, we're going to make change, we're going to talk to the government. It's going to start with us.
Because people are going through a lot out there. They just don't come up at the clinic and you shout at them. You're making things worse. Just be kind to one another, guys.
It's already enough that I'm sick,
Yes. The decision that you made when I'm going to the clinic is a very big decision. You can't just make it in 1 minute. You need to actually think, I'm going to the nurse today. So we need people to be kind.
Yeah. And on that note of kindness, that was our episode for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed it, learned a lot, and we left you guys with even more questions about things you could research further about backyard and backdoor pharmacies and how we can navigate the healthcare system in Zimbabwe in a way whereby we keep ourselves safe as patients. See you guys next time. Bye.